everyone. This is Lucas Ross Sports. Lucas Ross, your commentator, and we continue our 2022 college football predictions. The Arizona State Sun Devils are up next, and we will give you an official prediction, give you a game-by-game preview. I'll give you my thoughts on this team, and we'll go through the schedule and go from there. But before we do that, let's look back at 2021 for this Arizona State team. In 2021, the Arizona State Sun Devils went 8-5. Not a bad year for Arizona State, but they will really try to win more games this year. I mean, this is a team that does return quite a bit from last year's team. Half of their starters are back on both sides of the ball. But overall, this team should be really good. This team should be a contender in the Pac-12. And if you haven't heard, the Pac-12 doesn't have any more divisions. They are going to be playing just all Pac-12 teams. But the schedule just stays the same way. So just to let you guys clear up that. You see the offensive and defensive rankings last year for this Arizona State team. 67th on offense last year. Not a bad ranking, but they just want to improve that offense this year. And that offense has a lot coming back, quite a bit coming back this year. And you look at their defense, 22nd on defense last year. They were a really good defensive team, a top 30 defense, a top 25 defense as well. So that really helps you out. 28.4 points a game last year on the offensive side of the ball, 28.4 points. Not bad, but they want to get to 30. 20.8 points given up by the opponent. So, a lot to improve on this year for this Arizona State team. You still end up winning like 8 games, but they just want something to build on that. They have quite a bit coming back this year, so this team could be a contender for the Pac-12 championship as well. So, you don't want to sleep on this team. And here's the 2022 schedule for Arizona State. And you can see that opening game on September the 1st against Northern Arizona. This is a game that I think Arizona State will take care of business in. They really shouldn't have any problem with it in this one, but, it's a game that, it shouldn't be a problem. Overall, it shouldn't be a problem for Arizona State, so I think they start out the season 1-0. And then they got that game on the road at Oklahoma State. A really interesting game here between these two teams. Oklahoma State went to the Big 12 championship last year. We know Oklahoma State's going to be really young this year on defense. They only return about, they lose quite a lot, on that defensive side of the ball. The offense is really still going to be good, though. But the overall production percentage, I give it to Arizona State. I think Arizona State will be ready to play in this game, and I think they go on the road and defeat Oklahoma State. I think it's going to be really close, though. Not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I think it's going to be a game that, can go either way, but Arizona State, I think, will come out on top. I think Oklahoma State will compete, but it's just not going to. At the end of the day, I think Arizona State, their production percentage is just there for them, and I think they will win. So, and then Eastern Michigan is taken care of on September 17th. That's a game that Arizona State should really take care of business in. They don't really have any, means to lose this game. They don't really have a lot of plans to lose this game. This is a game that they should take care of business. If they lose this game, it's heartbreak. We know we've seen upsets in the past with, some teams upsetting Power 5 schools, but it happens. But this game right here, Arizona State should take care of business. And then they open up Pac-12 play against Utah. Utah was a great team last year, and I'm going to be talking about Utah for the first time in this one a little bit. This team brings a lot back from last year, including their offense. Quite a lot coming back on offense. Half of their starters back on defense. This is a game that really could go either way. I'm saying it probably could go into the fourth quarter, maybe the third quarter a little bit. Arizona State probably will compete in this game because, it's at home, and I can see Arizona State potentially upsetting them. End of the day, though, with Utah's season last year, the production percentage is there for Arizona State, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Utah will escape Arizona State with a win. But, it's going to be a close game. It's a game that Arizona State can win, but it's going to be really hard. It was a hard prediction to go with, and I had to go with Utah. So I'm picking Utah to win that one. Next game is on the road at USC. We know about USC this year. Lincoln Riley coming over. What is he going to be like? Thing is, though, USC only, returns about half of their starters back from last year. But this team should be really good under Lincoln Riley. We know Caleb Williams there. What is he going to be like at USC? What is he going to do for this USC team? Is he going to be that quarterback that he was at Oklahoma, or is he going to just be not really consistent? I think this USC team, with it being on the road, I think it's going to be a tough place to play for Arizona State, but it will be a close one in the first half. Second half, I think it's going to be all the Trojans, and I think USC will pull away, and I think it's going to be a win there for the Trojans on October the 1st. Next game is against Washington at home. This is a game that Arizona State could potentially win as well. Washington does really bring quite a production, though, back on the offense. You know, they bring half of their starters back on defense as well. So overall, the production percentage is really good for Washington this year. This game is at home, though. It's a potential win for Arizona State. I'm saying that it is a potential win. At the end of the day, though, the production percentage does go to Washington State. I think they have the better offense and, you know, not the better defense, but, you know, I'm saying that this game will be closer, you know, throughout all 4 quarters. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I'm saying it's going to go either way. But Washington does come away with a win. Washington should be a really good team this year. They should be much better than people might not say, but I think Washington will win. And then there's that game on the road at Stanford, October 22nd. They get a bye week before playing this game. And if you're Arizona State, you got to get a win here, but Stanford's going to be a really good team this year. They have a lot coming back on offense. They almost bring everybody back on defense as well. The production percentage is just good. And I think this game right here is not even close. I think Arizona State will compete in a minute or two, but at the end of the day, though, it's on the road. Stanford going to be really a talented team this year. They could be a top 15 team. Stanford is a team that you don't want to sleep on this year. I'm really high on them. I think it's going to be Stanford that does win it here, but it's going to be it's not going to be even close. I think it's going to be a game that Arizona State might lose big, but not that big. Maybe that big, but I mean, just, you know, it's a game that I don't really see Arizona State competing. I know they bring, you know, half of their starters back on offense, but this Stanford team is loaded right now. They have a lot coming back. Just don't really sleep on this team. Colorado on October 29th. This is back-to-back road games for Arizona State. Colorado's a team that has a lot of question marks on defense. The offense does return, though, quite a lot this year. You know, they bring half of them back on offense. Colorado does have the better offense going into this game, but Arizona State's defense should be really good by this time, and I think the defense will step up. And I think Arizona State finally ends that losing streak and picks up a win against Colorado on October 29th. It's their first Pac-12 win, so I mean, it's a big one. They're starting 0-5 in the or 0-4 in the Pac-12, so I mean, they get a win there, and they finally do it. So Arizona State gets the win. UCLA, November the 5th. This is an interesting one here as well. UCLA might have the easiest schedule in all Power 5 schools and maybe in the country. But UCLA, you know, doesn't return a whole lot on offense. They lose quite a lot from last year. Defensively, they have a lot of question marks, but they still are pretty much going to be a really good underdog team. With this one being at home, though, and the returning production percentage there, I think I see Arizona State winning because, you know, the production percentage is there for them, and I think they'll pick up the win. Not by a blowout. I think it's going to be a game that can go into maybe into the second half, but, you know, Arizona State, I think, will be better by this time, and they will start to pick up wins down the stretch. And I think Arizona State will win this one against UCLA on November the 5th. Next game is against Washington State on the road, November the 12th. Washington State has a lot of question marks on offense. Eventually, they bring quite a lot back, but Washington State's offense just has a lot of question marks. Washington State hasn't been that really good in the past years. They have a lot, you know, question marks, you know, overall on both sides of the ball. But defensively, they should be really good. But, end of the day, though, Arizona State, I think, should go on the road and defeat Washington State. You know, Washington State should be better by this time, but I think it's going to be a game that Arizona State can just go in there and win it. I know it's on the road and all, but I think it's, you know, Washington State just has a lot of years to go before they can really actually compete. So that's 3 wins in a row for Arizona State. Next game is against Oregon State at home. You know, Oregon State, you know, brings quite a lot back as well. Bring quite a bit of offense back from last year's team. Defensively, defensively, they bring almost everybody back. You know, this one being at home, though, and the returning production percentage there for Arizona State, I think Arizona State has a better offense, and I think they'll come out with the win just by maybe a field goal, maybe by 10 points or something like that. But this game is going to be close. It will be a close one, be a shootout game, no doubt about it. I mean, probably a high-scoring matchup. I mean, it's going to be a close one. Just don't really sleep on it. And then there's that last game against rival Arizona, November the 25th. This game is on Friday. and it's a really interesting game. This is going to be a really closer game than people expected. I know in my Arizona video I said it was going to be a shootout, but I gave the returning production percentage to Arizona State because the offense is better and the defense should be really good. This one's on the road, but it's going to be really close. It's going to be a game that goes into a shootout, and Arizona State will wind up winning that game, but it's going to be really close. Just don't really sleep on it. And the overall record for 2022 for the Arizona State Sun Devils comes out to be 8-4. I think Arizona State fans will be a little bit pleased about that, but there are games that they can potentially win. Utah's a potential win. Washington's a potential win. USC and Stanford, those games, I don't really see them, maybe competing, but this team could wind up going 10-2. You never know. This team could wind up going 10-2. But give me your thoughts on this Arizona State team down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys for another video of more predictions. And stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.